For the delay, meeting of the Cannabis Control Board of the City of Jersey City held Monday, June 24th, 2024 at approximately 5:18 at 4 Jackson Square in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, known as the Sunshine Act. Adequate notice of the meeting was provided by mail and/or fax. Can I get a call to order? Roll call.
Chairperson Bunny,
Here.
Vice Chair Cantorero,
Here.
Commissioner Kaplowitz.
Here.
Absent are Commissioners Sloan and Marte Dublin.
All right, with that, with the board's permission, I'm going to be calling the license renewal pursuant to Chapter Section 84-51D of the Jersey City Municipal Code, CCB 22-12, Downtown Flower LLC. Would you please step up? Make yourself comfortable, please. All right, Frank, nice to see you again.
Nice
Please,
to see you, Council.
Make yourself comfortable, enter your appearance into the record.
Good evening, everybody. Whoa. Frank Vitolo, Sills, Cummis, and Gross, on behalf of Downtown Flower.
Hello, Amanda Handy, Downtown Flower.
Hello, Jazz Randall, Downtown Flower.
All right, let's swear both of you folks in. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
All right, please state your name, spell your last name, and then we'll go to the left of you.
Amanda Handy, Handy.
And where do you live now, Amanda?
Jersey City.
Ah, you did move.
I did.
Yeah,
Jazz Randall, Jazz Randall, Randallo.
and your address?
The full address,
Sure.
She could give the town.
Jersey City.
Okay, fair enough. All right. All right, board members. Well, first of all, Mr. Rotolo, do you have anything you want to tell the board? And then the board members may or may not have some questions for the applicant.
Sure. This is our renewal hearing, and so Ms. Handy does have some remarks she'd like to make about what the current status of the business is, and just give you an update and how they're doing. And go ahead, Ms. Handy.
Thank you. You remain sworn. Go ahead.
All right, so we do have 80% of people employed at Downtown Flower who live and reside in Jersey City.
Congratulations.
75% of those are minority. We are still with the Hope House and continuing support with the Hope House, Miracle Temple, the whole spectrum autism. We're doing everything with all three organizations. Excuse me. We have the summer program starting with Miracle Temple the week after July 4th for kids in the just Jersey City area, just to give them something to do. Whole spectrum autism. We have a gala this week. All are invited to support kids, adults, everyone on the spectrum. We have monthly events for them for free. Most of the people are Jersey City and surrounding areas, so we've expanded. And that's about it.
Why don't you tell them how your business is doing?
Our business is doing fairly well. We're right at 141 Newark. We still are getting new clients every day. We're getting competition, friendly competition, so all's well. Seeing a lot of people, servicing everyone so far from all of our customers, city people, everybody. We're getting great feedback. So we're doing what we're supposed to, and if you have heard any feedback, please share it with us, and we'll be happy to address it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Next question.
Yeah.
How's business compared to your business model that you presented to us 2 years ago? Are you on schedule or behind or ahead?
We're, I guess, we're on schedule. It's changing. It's changing right now, especially for summer. We never had a summer, really. We opened up late July, early August for the medical. Mm-hmm. Recreational was October. So we've never really had a summer yet. So we're going with the changes of people going down the shore to the Hamptons, just leaving Jersey City.
All right.
But so far, no
Any-
complaints.
Any additional testimony? Fair enough. Anybody else from the board?
I don't have any questions. I just would like to say I live in the downtown part of Ward D. I walk my dogs on Newark Avenue, and honestly, and I'm very involved as well with whole spectrum autism, which is completely unrelated to how I met Amanda. I met Amanda here, and I think Stacy and I were probably the most critical of her application. But I've seen Amanda like completely immerse herself in Jersey City firsthand, with whole spectrum, with Pastor Cherry, with the downtown Sid. I see her dad down there putting down out hay bales and pumpkins. Like her whole family kind of just really jumped into Jersey City, and it is something that really impressed me because some of the other applicants have been causing issues and doing some things that aren't what they committed to doing on their initial applications. So it was very refreshing to see someone come in and actually honor their word and honor their commitments. And while Jose wasn't here, when we interviewed Amanda, Jeff was, and Stacy isn't here, but we were very hard on her application. I think we made them come back 3 or 4 times. And so I just wanted to say I do think they've done a really good job and honored their commitments, which is the most important thing to me personally.
How do you find your business, the medical versus the recreational?
It's totally different. Medical is, we see about 50 to 70 patients weekly. It doesn't compare to the recreational. But we still prioritize medical. They come in and they get right to the front of the line. We have a separate vault for them and a menu. So everything that we have available for medical everything available for recreational is available for medical, plus some that are medical only.
Would you say your business is 70-30 recreational?
10%, 90%.
10%, 90%, okay.
Isn't it true that people are just not getting the medical cards now, that it's legal and there's dispensaries literally everywhere?
Yeah, so there's one cultivator who is medical only. They're called Breakwater, and people get the license only for them.
Well, some people like
At some-
keeping their medical license.
Yeah,
Especially for traveling purposes. If they go outside of anywhere where it's legal recreationally, I know they.
Oh, no, once you leave the state, that's it. Your medical license doesn't
Yeah.
translate in any other state.
But at least if they get into any issue, they can show that they are a person that has a medical card.
Depending on what state you're in.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, if there's nothing else from the board, I'll open up to the public if anybody has any comments regarding this application. Hearing none, seeing none, bring it back to the board, quite frankly, for a motion to either recommend or not recommend renewal of the city license.
I'll make a motion for renewal.
I'll second.
All right. Chairwoman Bunny?
I'm going to abstain, not because I don't agree with the application, but just to avoid any conflict of interest.
All right, Vice Chairman Cantorero?
Aye.
And Commissioner Kaplowitz.
I vote aye. Congratulations. I'm glad you're succeeding, and you actually met everything that you stated during your long process of getting open.
yes, appreciate it. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations, best
Thank you.
of luck.
Thank you very much,
Keep
everybody.
up the good work.
Frank, nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Brittany.
All right, with the board's permission, we will now call CCB 22-13, the Cannabis Place 420 Corporation. Is there someone from that? There we go, all right. Nice to see you again.
Hello, good afternoon.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
My name is Osbert Orduña. Spelling on my first name is O-S, B as in boy, E-R-T. Spelling on my last name is O-R-D-U-N-A. Address is 5036 Holiday Drive in Pocono Summit.
What would you like to tell the board, sir?
I'd like to tell the board that I literally just raced here from the Capitol, where I gave testimony regarding new legislation that's on the table that impacts Jersey City and the cannabis industry as a whole. So if I'm a little out of breath, it's been a long day.
That wasn't the psilocybin.
Right.
No, it's 3235 is the bill number. Basically,
Oh, the hemp.
The hemp, correct, the intoxicating hemp, which is a major issue that we're facing here in Jersey City as licensed businesses because of the fact that, so many of these smoke shops, gas stations, et cetera, are selling these THCO, THCP products,
Anybody.
to anybody, exactly, to kids, to anyone.
Is that like that Delta 8?
It is a Delta 8
Yeah, that's a
product.
horrible thing.
It's Frankenstein cannabis is
Oh, I don't
what I like to
disagree.
refer to it as. And it undermines the legitimacy of our industry. It undermines our ability to operate within the marketplace. So I would love to see the CCB in Jersey City take some action at the local level
We have no authority.
as well.
The CCB has no authority.
The only authority in Jersey City would be the Board of Health or the Police Department.
And right now, it's legal, so neither one of those has any.
Yeah, what this bill is doing is it's trying to close that gap. And unfortunately, you have the alcohol industry now that's trying to come into the space and circumvent the entire Cannabis Regulatory Commission process and be able to sell these THC products through liquor stores, which again,
Really?
would not, yes, which would take away, 2% of the sales of these THC products from the city. And really just, again, make it something that undermines the industry as a whole.
Yeah, I can't believe we're dealing with that. That's been around for a while, and it's a dangerous substance.
All right, so we are here for your renewal. Is there anything that you would like to tell the board with respect to that city license renewal?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I'd like to say that, when we came last before you, I spoke about a lot of things, and I made a lot of promises about having a diverse workforce, about being a community partner, how we were going to utilize our community impact room to hold events that are, safe space type events, how we were going to leverage our contacts in the industry to bring, national organizations to Jersey City to, participate in different types of programming to help educate the Jersey City community as a whole, to the opportunities within the cannabis industry and as to the cannabis industry as a whole. So I'm proud to say that, we have 20 employees at the Cannabis Place. All of our employees are Hudson County residents. 17 of our employees are Jersey City residents. 19 of our employees are minority, either Black or Latino. 3 are female. 6 identify as LGBTQ plus individuals. 2 are justice-involved individuals, and 2 are also mobility/handicapped individuals as well. We've held 11 different events in our community impact room. Again, a safe space for different persons within the community to come and meet in our community impact room. This, again, is a non-consumption, non-cannabis space that's adjacent to our dispensary, where we've held educational events. We've held, art events, music events, yoga events, different types of events, really to bring the community together around and see that, this is a safe space for everyone to share. We don't charge anyone to use the space. Literally, the organization submits a request, we review it, and thus far we've, 11 times held these 11 events. Our advocacy work, comes not only from myself with things such as today, being and testifying on behalf of, giving the voice to Jersey City cannabis, licensed cannabis businesses, but also bringing organizations such as the Minority Cannabis Business Association, and bringing them together with, the Jersey City Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, being on that committee to create these events at Hudson County Community College. I've also, with my team, met with NJCU and brought the UFCW together with NJCU to discuss ideas around certificate programs to help expand the knowledge of the cannabis industry and the cannabis industry workforce within Jersey City and beyond. Again, just a multitude of different advocacy type of events that are very important to creating an industry that is going to be the example for others to follow. I'm proud to say that this July, we're going to send formal invitations. We will be signing our union recognition agreement, where we will be the first union dispensary in Hudson County, in Jersey City, in North Jersey, in New Jersey, that is independently owned, that has not where we are recognizing the union, we are recognizing our employees. We did the union pre-apprenticeship program where 22 individuals went through our union pre-apprenticeship program. We're the first in the nation to ever do a collaborative program with the union. So I'm proud to say that we're doing a lot of positive things, not only for our staff, but for the greater community and the greater cannabis industry as a whole.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate that. Any questions from the board members?
Let me ask the same question. How do you find business today compared to what your pro forma was? Are you on target, behind, ahead?
I'd say an honest assessment is we're behind. The reality is we have, for example, on our block, this smoke shop that where the police department has taken enforcement action in the past that was selling unlicensed cannabis. We have another place literally diagonal from us that does the same thing. In addition to that, you guys approved the day that we were approved. You approved a business 250 feet from us that went on and got their planning board approval and ultimately their city council resolution. Now they have their annual approval, and which violates the 600-foot rule. But they're 250 feet from us, and ultimately, they're going about their construction process. Sales are already behind what our performers show. Once this business opens up, it's just going to further have a negative impact on our operations. And so, we are, it's a very challenging market, and it becomes even more challenging when, unfortunately, our elected officials don't do what they say they're going to do and don't follow the regulations and ordinances that they have passed for the rest of us to follow.
Well, I know the board wishes you much success. Any comments or anything else, questions from those folks in the audience on the testimony thus far? Or hearing none, seeing none. Back to the board for presumably a motion to either recommend or not recommend renewal of the city license.
I'll make a motion for renewal.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, there's 2 members voting. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a great evening.
To you. All right, back to the chair.
Junior and Osborne, nice to see you guys as well. Best of luck. Okay. I don't think we have anything to memorialize right now.
Thank you. We do.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Well, first of all, the 2 that we just did, and I'm just having acting vice chair sign that. And there is an older one that has been hanging out it was a final resolution in the matter of the application of Cream Dispensary at 284. That was for a final approval. Chairperson,
I was
you were
absent.
absent, right. So can I get I've sent this around several times and asked for an electronic vote, but you guys are awfully busy. So motion by.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? This gets
Jose.
signed by, thank you.
Yeah, no, I know. I was going to pass it on to him.
Thank you. So
Jose?
that takes care of that. Thank you. And then while we're at it, I think in front of you, Jose, you've got the Cannabis Place 420. That would be the recommendation for the city to renew. So if we could get a motion followed by a second.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that
Okay.
takes care of that one. And then Downtown Flower,
Motion.
we've got, you already signed it. We've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay, that memorializes that.
Okay, the only thing that I wish to discuss in the open discussion is attendance of the board members. I think it's something, I don't want to single anyone out. I just feel that it needs to be brought to the council's attention that we're having attendance issues and they need to be addressed because I know several of the board members are doing everything they can to get here, and I do understand we all have scheduling conflicts, jobs, families, events, but I don't think it's fair that 4 of us are consistently showing up and 1 person is often not here. It's nothing again. It's not a personal thing. It truly is just, I know I've spoken to Jose and Sonia about this, but there are times where some of us have a conflict, but know we have to be here because if we aren't here, the meeting won't go forward, and that's not fair to the applicants. I feel very strongly, and I want to say this on the record, that every applicant should be treated equally and fairly, and especially these businesses who are open, we should not be delaying them. So I would like to make a motion for Ron Mondello to draft a letter to not just the council president, but to the entire council to be sent via the city clerk to address how we deal with attendance, and also to give the board a status update as to why the amendments to the cannabis ordinance are just sitting idle.
Yeah, right.
So we just need a second.
Yeah, second, and we discussed this, I know you were out, chairperson, but we actually spoke about this at our last meeting as well. We wanted to bring this to your attention as well as put it on the record so that there was a recording of it. And I'm glad that you are proceeding with making this motion, and I'll second it.
Just for comments, maybe the board should be also expanded to 7.
I don't think I would like alternates instead of expanding it to 7. Have alternates, so if we're not available, someone could fill in. Or I don't care.
Change the ordinance.
Either alternates or expand the board. I don't care, or just give us a member who's going to show up. I don't care how they fix the problem. I just know that it's unfair to the job that we were all appointed to do.
That may be the solution. Alternates. 2 alternates.
There just has to be some solution because we cannot delay these businesses, especially the open ones.
Don't
And-
disagree.
And we also have to figure out, and which I don't know, Ron, maybe this is another part of your letter, but another issue that I am conflicted by is these businesses who are not yet open, who are holding pins in the map, and there's no expiration date. We're just blind. And I know it takes a long time to open these businesses, but it's concerning because there's so much money being spent on this industry, and we have voted no on applications based on previous applications who are holding pins in the map but aren't open and seemingly may never open and aren't giving us status updates. So I don't know how we address that.
Well, we actually talked about it last meeting, and there's got to be a time limit when you get an approval by us to make sure that they go through the process. Otherwise, they keep it open, and there was a little testimony earlier on that states that, we're approving other cannabis within a certain location, close to another location, because there's no pin in the map because we give an approval, but technically it's not really approval
Yeah.
until they go to an
Through all the
annual.
steps.
Right.
Yeah.
So
There should be an expiration in the ordinance.
I agree.
Yeah.
I always put them,
Right, and I think that that's important. I think that
And couldn't
we
it-
should make a recommendation that after you come to us, you have a short period of time to go to planning, and if you're not coming back with an annualized permit to operate cannabis, maybe it's sunshine, or give it a reasonable time. But it's open now like a couple of years for a lot of these companies.
Yeah, a lot of these businesses have been holding a pin in the map for years with no progress, no update.
I got an email
Just
from,
so the board knows, Marquis is in the process of getting updates from every applicant that we have. I think we have maybe 3 remaining, and then we'll send over a report for the board members so they understand the status of where everyone is. For the most part, I think almost every application so far has a plan to open by the end of the year. I mean, I think we should also realize that even the state process is very long. So unless we can get a real feel from the state on exactly the time frame it takes for them to review these applications, because I get notification prior to an application being reviewed by the state, and I probably get a call once every 2 months where they're looking at 2 or 3 applications at most. So I think we need to find out those time frames prior to putting any kind of expiration on the approvals.
I don't think, just to be very clear, I think Maynard does a very good job. I think Marquia does a very good job. I don't think any of this is that they're not being proactive. I just think that we have these businesses that are open, and it's unfair to them that these people are holding on to licenses and and also we saw what happened with one applicant. They're selling the license, just like the business structure is completely changing.
Right.
So what we intended for this to be was local Jersey City residents And we literally were hammering people about that and being very, I don't know what word I was just trying to say. We were criticizing people who didn't live in Jersey City, and we were, like Downtown Flower is a perfect example. She did move to Jersey City. I think it was Stacy who said she's not going to do that, but she did. And so my concern is now the licenses are also being sold to people who don't live in Jersey City, and applications that we approved, if they came in their true form now, would not have been approved.
Brittany, if you remember about, a while back, I actually raised this issue that, a lot of these applicants won't survive or ever open, and they would sell their location or their business to multi-state operators.
But that's why that's why I'm saying on the record, I think Ron needs to bring this to the entire council's attention, what's happening here.
Right.
In writing so that it's addressed. Because me making phone calls isn't moving anything in any direction. So I think it needs to be a formal letter from the board expressing the concerns of what we're seeing.
Well, the one thing I will say is that it's not illegal. If I lived here and I want to sell my license, I can do that.
Sure.
Right, but why wouldn't you have to come back in front of the board?
It's not in the ordinance, I guess.
And the other thing is we need to revisit the cap. We're at 65.
something?
How many, Marquia? 65? Yeah, we're just setting people up to fail at this point. We're literally just setting people up to fail. Which is probably why people stopped applying, because they realized there's too many licenses.
Right. And, look, when you sell a liquor license, you have to go back to the ABC.
ABC board, correct.
You have to, I've sold a couple of liquor licenses.
I know, and that's why I think New Jersey in general has to really review this whole cannabis process. I mean, it's the newest and biggest industry that's come to the state of New Jersey in, I don't know, Ron, how long? Decades?
Yeah, well, sure.
And we're not doing it well. And in Jersey City, I don't think we're doing the best job that we could be doing. And it's because the ordinance is stalled.
So I will ask, obviously, the council if we could get some direction on attendance requirements and whether or not they would be open to some alternate members, and then ask them where are we at with amendments to the cannabis ordinance. Tom, I think, worked pretty hard on some amendments that seem to just be in the wind.
I think it's installed with the council members.
All right. Yeah. Well,
And Tom's no longer with the city.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You said that a lot of these companies, they tell you that they're going to open up by the end of the year. Have most of these companies actually gone through the entire process of us planning, council resolution, converting from a conditional to an annual license, and they're just waiting to do their work, or
So yes, everybody that we followed up with have full municipal approval, right? So we're waiting.
But how many people is that?
It's maybe a little over 40 some odd people. So
they've gone
far,
through everything?
They've gone through all of our processes.
Oh, but
so
not- go
the
ahead.
state. So once they got through the city council,
Right.
we were done, right? So they've sent it off to the state. They're waiting for their, whether they change it over from conditional to annual. We don't usually hear back from them. So what I've done was I reached out, I sent them all forms to fill out to let me know where they are in the process, what's your expectation to, date to open. And pretty much everyone, maybe two I'm still waiting for, has said they expect to open either at the end of this year. Some still saying in July, August, September. I got maybe 3 or 4 that says early 2025. But they've explained where they are. A lot of them are in the build out. It's
Okay.
the building, like it's all of those issues that they're having. And so far I'm seeing that it's taking about 2 years or longer for these applicants to get to this point. It's looking like that. Like even with Blossom, like Blossom was our first application and they just got to this point of opening up. And like that's a 2-year, 3-year process. So what I've noticed from what they're saying so far is that a lot of them are just in this middle stage of like build out, construction, things like that. And that's why they think they can open in August, or that's why they think they can open the beginning of January, in the beginning of the year. So
I just don't think this is sustainable, and I think I feel bad for all of the applicants at this point because there's just too many licenses, and the ordinance is too weak. We were put in a position where basically we couldn't deny, as we saw. We lost in court, and I feel bad for the applicants. I would suggest people to, write to the council and express your concern that the ordinance is not being reviewed. It's sitting stagnant.
Well, I did speak in front of the council on this issue about a couple months ago, and I asked for a moratorium, and every council member just said no.
Oh, Courtney just got here.
There is a moratorium.
Yeah, the
We're
moratorium
not
still
accepting any
exists.
applications.
No new applications.
Well, when I was there, they weren't going to consider it, so maybe they after.
No, we did the moratorium a long time ago.
Now, March 15th, 2023 was the first moratorium, and it's been.
And it took effect in like June, right? Because it was supposed to be immediate, but then I think we gave people 60 days.
No, March 15th. It was,
Oh, right.
But you still accepted applications, even.
no.
No, we only heard applications that were already in the pipeline. We did not
Oh,
accept
no, we
any
didn't hear
new.
them, but I thought people were still.
You're still allowed to send them in, just so
Right.
there's an order when it opens back up. But
Right.
the board hasn't seen any applications from May 15th, and we've only received 2 or 3. Yeah, not many.
Anybody you've seen has been, they submitted prior to May 15th.
All right.
No, we haven't gotten any, maybe 2 or 3 that I'm just holding on to. Some people are still willing to, submit and pay the application fee and let it sit there, because that's all it's doing. It's sitting there.
And we're up to, how many are open? 9?
10. We have
10.
10 open, and still with, obviously people are still calling in about the other licenses, but for the retail,
Has anybody called you and said they're not opening?
not one. And I asked them, where's the,
I got an email from an attorney that represents, forgive me, I always mix the name up. Is it Mary Jane or Aunt Mary's?
Aunt Mary's
Oh, Mary's on.
on Bergen Avenue.
That's not going to work out. There's an issue with the landlord, and they're going to, rescind.
But
Okay,
Aunt
well-
Mary's hasn't gotten, is she, I'd have to look.
I don't know.
But I'm not sure she has full municipal approval. So again, we only reached out to the people that have full municipal. There are some that are still waiting for planning and still going through that process, but, so we haven't reached out to them yet because we understand, like, planning could take forever. But we wanted to know the people that have gone through the 3 steps with us, where are you? Because you're the ones that we're expecting to open right now, like, you're the
Yeah.
ones that have the full municipal.
No, I understand
You know what,
that.
before we should put on the record that Commissioner Sloan's here, present. Thank you.
I think there's nothing we can do about the bureaucratic process of getting on agendas, right? We only meet once a month. We had to change our meeting date because of other meetings that are now in person here, which is fine. But so we meet at the end of the month. The council only meets twice per month. Does the planning board meet once or twice? Twice. So it's also a race to get on the agenda. The planning board has a hard stop, I think, for like 10 or 11. They stop hearing for the night usually. So if you don't get through it and there's a very contested I understand. I just feel bad for the cannabis. I mean, my only job is the cannabis applications, and that's our job. And I feel bad for those applicants and I feel bad for the ones who are open because.
But also, can I say, like, I think the other ones that don't have full municipal, the pen and the map doesn't go in until city council, right? So the people that are still, what I found out from planning is that planning can still stop people. Like, remember we spoke to them about that. So there are people who haven't gone to planning yet.
Yeah.
And let's say they're 250 feet away from one that has already, they can stop that at that level. So there's still that opportunity. I was not aware of that. Planning told us that recently. This is also why we haven't really followed up with them. Okay.
Right. But so, okay. No, I understand what you're saying.
I
So
know she was worried about the pen and like all of these people that are holding spots, but there are still opportunities where.
Important to recognize you don't need planning board approval to get an annual license from the state. They don't care about your planning board. Now, you need that for the city license, obviously, right? But
Yeah.
once they get annual, they're probably going to open up, but yeah.
But they can't get annual without
So out of the 40,
without the CO.
out of the 40 that you talked to and responded, how many have gone from conditional to annual by the state? Any of them?
I believe plenty of them have. I don't have the exact number of who, because some apply for conditional to be converted, and then some were going straight to annual. Off the top of my head, I cannot say how many or which number is which. But by
So,
Please.
but I have another question. How do we know that these applicants are being truthful? Like, if they haven't pulled permits, I mean, they're clearly still not ready to move forward, right? I mean, Ron,
The
tell us.
state would have that information. To your point, if you don't convert your conditional within 180 days and then ask for 1 or 2 extensions, it goes away. It goes away.
So then why isn't the state notifying Maynard and Marquia of that? I mean, there has to
They're
be.
overwhelmed. Yeah.
Well, this is all very concerning because, again, I feel people are holding pins in the map or things aren't.
Just, yeah.
It's just not fair to the applicants who are actually, if we could do it all over again, I would do a lot of things different, but we can't. But where we are now, how do we address some of the missteps that were made initially to correct where we're going?
I think the first thing is find out from the state
Bingo.
Yeah.
and find out where those applications are.
So once you have your information, we should cross-reference it with the state CRC to find out where those applicants actually are in the
But
process.
what is the total number to date that
65?
we have approved?
65, I think. It's 60. It's over 60.
Okay.
But the issue is there are people who came in front of us more than 2 years ago who are still not open and are probably never opening and are not being honest with the board about that and possibly holding pins in the map. And it's not helping the city figure out what is the cannabis industry in Jersey City. The unfortunate reality of it is we are going to have a cap at some point because it's not like restaurants. They all are selling the same product. There's nothing really to differentiate them other than their employees, their branding, their locations. But really, they're all selling the same product. And I feel bad that we're setting people up to potentially fail because it's just not fair. And they all took a risk. They applied for these licenses. I understand all of that. But we also have made many missteps along the way that I feel we need to try to fix.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
Brittany,
let me ask
those
this question.
missteps as a small business owner myself, I mean,
But
the landscape has gotten very different. The context in the beginning was not as decisive, right? Where they could be and how they could be. But the issue here becomes, I don't know, for me, it's proximity, right? We've got streets with 3 stores and 4, so
Central Avenue has 11. I was always against that.
yeah, so, and we spoke to that earlier. But again, we are here just being of service, and we've shared, I thought we did right from the beginning. We saw that, I think it was like our 3rd meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow, all these people are going to Newark Avenue, Central. So, you know.
Well, here's
Right.
I
No,
have a
but the
question.
point is it just needs to be, we're talking about addressing the council again to try to fix this. This board has no authority to amend the ordinance or do anything.
Well,
The
here's my
motion
question.
is,
Here's my question. We're asking Maynard to check with the state to see the status of these applications and see how, they're accurate in their response to the survey. If indeed that they're nowhere near the state, do we have any authority to
no,
say?
not the CCB. The ordinance doesn't, the only authority we have is the authority given to us by the ordinance. The ordinance, we've been saying for more than a year now, needs to be redone. There are changes that need to be made. The changes have been made, and then we've realized more changes, and we've gone back to the council and to the law department, and the ordinance is still sitting there. So
So basically, we're sitting here discussing where everybody is, and basically, we have no authority at this point to do anything.
the board has no authority. The council does have the authority to amend the ordinance to address the concerns that we have. So the motion that I made was for Ron to write the letter to the council addressing these issues so that it's in writing to all 9 of them.
Does the council have the authority to,
Vacate a resolution of support, yeah, I believe it's within their authority. They should put it in the ordinance, and I think they can. But if a reasonable period of time, 18 months has gone by, and you still don't have an annual license, something's wrong.
okay.
So there's a motion and a
Hear what the
second.
state says, then we can make,
The period for the state to grant annual licenses has shrunk drastically. Now, remember, everybody rushed, right, to the door. They had thousands.
Yeah.
Don't have that now.
So can I just ask your motion, just, I get I'm here late, and I'm very sorry for that.
Can she even vote on the motion since she wasn't here for all of it?
Well, we could, I guess, dissect it, because she has been here for the amendments to the cannabis ordinance.
Okay, so my motion was to write a letter to the council addressing attendance, addressing alternates or additional board members, because we're having issues with quorum. My other one was why hasn't the ordinance moved? And then talking about the time that people can hold on to these licenses.
Right, which I think was an amendment to the
Yeah.
cannabis ordinance.
So 1, 2, 3, separate.
Yeah,
and
3,
part-
well, no, one letter, 3 things that he's addressing.
Okay.
So,
I made a motion to second that.
so can we vote on it?
Yeah, there was an extensive discussion about me sending a letter to the council about getting some guidelines with respect to attendance. That was essentially the first one. And if someone or folks can't make it to the meeting, we would like to ask the council if perhaps they would appoint alternates. So that was the sum and substance of the entire first point. So now that you are aware of that, I'm comfortable that you can vote on it.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Aye.
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 oh, aye.
All right. I will
Okay.
draft a letter. I will first circulate it to you folks for comment and see where we go from there.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, can we hold off? Are we going to discuss renewals moving forward?
What was that?
Are we going to discuss how we're going to handle renewals moving
Let's have a
forward?
discussion right now, so we don't
Okay.
have the discussion in front of people.
Okay,
who-
sure. On the record, the one thing we have said is that the majority owner has to be present for the application to be heard. Especially in the case where they have changed ownership in any meaningful way, like Blossom did.
Right.
So,
Is this for the final resolution or renewal, which actually is not in the ordinance? We're supposed to have one final hearing.
I
right
think,
before they
okay,
open
the
door.
final hearing, well, if the ordinance gets amended, the final hearing goes away. So, it's more the renewal. I would think, there's no guidance in the ordinance for renewals. This came down from the law department earlier this week. Maynard, Marquia, and I were trying to figure it out. We all agreed in a consensus, the law department, the council, everyone agreed that we should not be delaying the open businesses. So we need to get them on the agenda as quickly as possible, even if it means short notice, because Ron pointed out that we don't know what happens if there's a lapse in their state license. So we went out of our way to make sure to accommodate Downtown Flower and the Cannabis Place 420 today, because they are open, they are generating revenue, they're paying taxes to the city of Jersey City, and so those businesses should take preference over anything else. So Ron agreed with that, the law department agreed, Maynard and Marquia and myself all agreed. I do believe Maynard and Marquia sent an email to all of you asking for your feedback, which you were to independently submit to them because we cannot reply all to each other on the emails. My concern was really just asking how many employees they hired. Is it close to the percentage that they committed to hiring from Jersey City? Is it a diverse workforce? Are they doing their social equity and community engagement? And then anything really they want to share with us.
Like we heard this evening.
Right.
So, again, something was weird about my email. I did not get it. I called Ron this morning, and he sent me all the information. I would also suggest that if there's any kind of change or additional owners.
Yeah, that was in my email as well.
Okay, so I didn't see.
No, you didn't see my email because it went directly to them because we can't
then I
all
don't know.
communicate,
Right.
right? So I said ownership
So
structure.
we can talk about it now because we're all here and on an open record. I'd like to hear what all the recommendations are.
You know, one of the things that perplexes me is that the board doesn't have authority for this renewal.
We don't have authority for it. So anything we
makes sense.
decide, it's not in the ordinance. So
It makes sense to do it. It doesn't make sense to do the final hearing,
No, I agree with that.
but I guess,
I mean, the finals are useless. The renewal is where everything's going to come. And I also think there should be a police report over the year that says, just like a liquor license, you get a report if there's been complaints against a liquor store or a bar.
But-
Not for the renewal, we don't.
No, you're kidding me, no?
No. If there's an issue of police reports, then the board has the right, or the prosecutor has the right to bring charges, and then it's heard by the board.
so
But for a renewal,
I
no,
think
we don't review police
Really?
reports.
Okay, so may I ask a favor? Before we tell Maynard what he does, can we ask him the question of how the process works? So
I
we're
always
not
thought they-
saying
you always-
misinformation because we are on the record and I don't want to confuse somebody. And Maynard does a very good job running his department. He knows how the ABC works, he knows how the CB works. And so he should be the expert in saying what the process is. My suggestions were the status update of how many employees they have hired and where they live, how their business is doing in general terms, what community engagement have they done thus far, have there been any major changes to ownership and or security plans. Otherwise, I don't really see what else the board would need to ask. I mean,
Well, I think there should be something if they're becoming a nuisance in the community.
well, that's, but they're not, no one's going to tell you they're a nuisance to the community.
Well, that's where police reports come in.
But a lot of them, the police aren't even being called. I know of specific instances with one particular shop where the police have not intervened, but there is very egregious behavior happening. So I just don't know that we're going to get that report. So it's something we can ask for, but unless it's in the ordinance and it comes from the council directing the police director to do that, it's never going to happen.
so Maynard, let me ask you.
I mean, we can ask for calls for service, but I'm not sure if it's not in the ordinance, we would be able to do that.
No, I agree. And also, calls of service don't mean that they did something wrong. I mean,
That's correct.
people call all the time and say the music's loud, and loud to one person is
I agree.
quiet to another.
So Maynard, if I'm an applicant and I say, I'm not coming for a renewal before this board, I don't have to.
That was actually going to be my question. So
What do you do? Do you say, well, I'm not going to send your application to, I don't know, the governing body? I'm not going to renew your license.
My understanding from my conversation and email with the CRC is for the first year of operation, they're just looking for an update to make sure that resolution of support is still in good standing.
And the only way they could get that is coming here, right?
The governing body.
The governing body, I mean, initially they said they want just a letter that's coming from the mayor's office. I requested assuming that the board's going to review these applications, could the letter come directly from the board? I have not received an answer to that yet. So we have to determine if the state is still looking for something from the municipality to say, yes, this resolution of support is still in good standing, how we're going to address that.
They're going to want something from the municipality, but they may say, we're not coming to the CCB. I'm going to call the mayor or I'm going to appear before the council.
So I discussed this last week when we were trying to figure out the process. In the conversations that I had, it would still be the CCB. They would come to the CCB. We will do the preliminary hearing. We will make the recommendation to the council, and then ultimately the council would renew based on our recommendation, which is really always the way the process was supposed to work. We're just a board that makes a recommendation to the governing body. So we would make a recommendation to renew. In terms of police issues, I think if there were any major issue, that does get reported to you and to the CRC. So
No, it doesn't get reported to us.
no, okay.
Because we're not handling any of the enforcement. It might be to the municipal prosecutor and there's charges brought.
Right.
Municipal charges, but no, we wouldn't know about it.
Well, let's continue the way we're doing, and hopefully there aren't any applicants that say, I'm not showing
no.
before the CCB.
Well, again, this is why the ordinance needs to be amended. They don't need to come for final approval. That's just a waste of everybody's time. The renewal is the part where we should have the authority to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Understood.
Because otherwise, they can't get their letter of support from the municipal. Because really, if they don't come here and we don't give the council the letter, it doesn't go on the council agenda.
Maynard?
I mean, what we're trying to avoid, for time's sake, is not requiring a council resolution, right? So if there's a recommendation from this board, just for a letter to be approved, it would avoid the time frame that's required. Because if we're going to go through, they're going to come here first, and then I have to put them on the agenda for a letter, I think it's going to slow down the process,
Yeah.
which we're trying to avoid.
So what we're suggesting, from my understanding of the council agenda, this would just go on like communications, and it would be
Okay, that
right.
works.
It would be a letter from us, and then they would, because they vote on that in a block for the most part.
Correct.
So we would write a letter as the board saying we support whatever applicant. So today's letter or the next council agenda letter will say we voted and we recommend we continue supporting Downtown Flower and the Cannabis Place 420.
Okay.
Signed by you, Maynard, as the director, Ron, the attorney, and me as the chair. Because my biggest thing is I don't want to hold up any of these businesses that are open.
All right, we should.
So however we can expedite the process for them, I do think they have to come here, especially in the first year. But until the ordinance is amended, they don't technically have to.
And the CRC may accept the resolution that I did tonight for these two applicants. And then,
Okay, so we voted on the motion?
a lot of spinning wheels.
Okay, so
passed.
does anyone else have anything to say about renewals? Motion to adjourn.
That's a shit show, basically.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right.